If you wake up feeling weak, your erections fade away, and you find yourself dragging through the day without energy, I need to say something very clear. This is not normal aging. It's your body sending an alarm, warning you that you're missing an essential vitamin every night. And without it, your penis, your strength, and your vitality fade faster than you imagine. I'm Dr. Sandra Pereira, a urologist and specialist in men's health with over 30 years of experience helping men regain their potency, energy, and confidence. I've seen thousands of men who believed their decline was inevitable, and I've guided them through a transformation that proved otherwise. Here's the strange paradox. Many men try to eat well, exercise, do what they can, and still wake up tired, restless, and impotent in bed. Why? Because no one told them that their body loses this vitamin more and more with age, and without it, the nightly recovery system simply fails. But this is the promise I want you to hold on to. When you restore this vitamin at the right time at night, your body can start to change. Bedroom potency returns, vigor flows back into your muscles, and your sleep becomes deeper and more restorative than you thought possible. In a moment, I'll reveal exactly what this vitamin is, why your body loses it after 60, and the simple nightly routine that can help you recover your strength starting tonight. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share could be the most important change you'll make for your health. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss important health tips designed especially for men over 60. I'd love to hear your comments. If this video is helpful, write 1 in the comments. If not, write 0 so I know how to improve and provide even better content. Now, let's get straight to the point. To truly understand why a vitamin at night can change everything, we first need to look at what happens to a man's body while he sleeps, and why poor nightly recovery is the first sign of accelerated aging. Why do men feel older at night? When I sit down with men in their 60s and 70s, the same story comes up repeatedly. They tell me, "Doctor, I went to bed at a reasonable time. I thought I slept through the night, but when I wake up, I feel like I didn't sleep at all." Their shoulders slump as they admit that by mid-morning, their energy runs out, their desire has dissipated, and the strength of their erections is no longer the same. And I see it in their eyes. They believe this is simply aging. But to tell the truth, the reason men feel older at night isn't age itself, but rather that their body has lost the ability to recover during sleep. You see, the night isn't just rest. It's the engine of your health. While you sleep, your body works harder than most people think. It's when testosterone peaks, when the blood vessels in the penis expand and repair so you can wake up with those strong morning erections, when the prostate relaxes from inflammation, and when the mitochondria in every cell recharge so you have energy for the day ahead. It's a man's natural reset. Without deep, restorative sleep, that reset never happens, and you carry yesterday's exhaustion into today and then tomorrow. I often remember one of my patients who told me, "Doctor, I feel like I aged 20 years overnight." And in a way, he was right, because the difference between a man who feels 60 and one who feels 80 often comes down to the quality of his nightly recovery. When sleep is shallow and interrupted, the body can't rebuild itself, and that deterioration shows up first where men notice it most, in their vitality, performance, and confidence as men. But here's the hopeful part. When you restore the body's ability to recover at night, everything starts to change. I've seen men regain their strength, feel more awake in the morning, and even desire intimacy again, all because they finally learned to recover while sleeping. And it all starts with something so simple that most men overlook it entirely. In fact, it's the nutrient your body urgently needs after 60. And once you restore it, you'll understand why I call it the true nighttime vitamin. So let's talk about what this missing piece really is. The missing piece, magnesium, the nighttime vitamin. Over the years, I've learned that the male body is remarkably resilient, but it has one condition. It needs the right fuel to recover. And this is where most men stumble without realizing it. They spend the day thinking they've done everything right: a decent diet, some exercise, trying to manage stress. Yet when the sun sets and the body should be gearing up for deep restorative sleep, something fundamental is missing. That something is magnesium. I call it the nighttime vitamin because without it, the entire male recovery system crumbles. Let me explain logically. When magnesium levels are low, the body doesn't fully enter repair mode. You might close your eyes, fall asleep, even sleep 6 or 7 hours, but your nervous system stays on alert. Instead of diving into the deep sleep stages where testosterone is produced and blood vessels regenerate, you stay restless, tossing in bed, waking up to go to the bathroom, or lying there with a racing mind. And the worst part is, you can't see this deficiency with your eyes. It shows up silently, stealing your energy, strength, and potency night after night. I remember talking to a gentleman around 70 who told me he felt like his body had betrayed him. He'd always been active, but suddenly he was waking up tired, snapping at his wife, and feeling ashamed of his weak erections. After some tests, it was clear he had magnesium deficiency. We restored it, and within weeks, he described feeling alive again. His words, not mine. "Doctor, I didn't realize how much of my masculinity I'd lost until I got it back." That's the power of this vitamin. Magnesium is the silent guardian of your potency, vigor, and deep sleep. Without it, your heart races, your muscles tense, your prostate suffers, and your erections weaken. With it, your body finally calms down, your sleep deepens, your testosterone rises, and your mornings greet you with strength instead of exhaustion. That's why I often say that if you're over 60 and suffering from fatigue and fading erections, don't blame age. Blame the lack of magnesium. But here's the crucial part. Not all magnesium is the same. And this is where most men make their biggest mistake. In fact, choosing the wrong type is why many try it and feel nothing. That's why in the next section, I'll reveal the exact forms of magnesium that actually work for men your age, and how they can mean the difference between frustration and a genuine transformation. Why magnesium disappears after 60. One of the most frustrating things I hear from men is this: "Doctor, I eat my vegetables, I eat nuts as snacks, I even take better care of myself than when I was younger. So why do I still feel weak, drained, and restless at night?" And I look at them with empathy because I know the answer isn't laziness, it's not carelessness, and it's certainly not just age catching up. The real reason is that after 60, your body simply doesn't retain magnesium the way it used to. Even when you do everything right, the mineral that fuels your nightly recovery slips away silently. Think of it this way. When you were younger, your foods were richer in nutrients, and your body absorbed them easily. The soil that grew those vegetables decades ago was stronger, healthier, and mineral-rich. Nowadays, due to modern farming, much of that magnesium has been stripped away, so even if you load your plate with spinach or seeds, you're not getting the same benefit as before. And to make matters worse, with age, your digestive system changes. Your gut doesn't absorb nutrients as efficiently, meaning the little magnesium you do consume often passes through without reaching your cells. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You pour and pour, but it never fills. I'll never forget a man who came to see me, proud of how careful he was with his diet. He avoided junk food, cooked his meals, and believed he was doing everything possible. Yet he was exhausted and ashamed of how his body had changed. When we tested, his magnesium levels were surprisingly low. He looked at me and said, "Doctor, I feel like my own body betrayed me." And in a way it had. Not by choice, but through the natural aging process that steals absorption and depletes the minerals your body needs to stay strong. On top of all that, many common medications men take after 60, like blood pressure pills, statins, or even simple antacids, actually flush magnesium out of the body faster. So while you think you're taking care of your health with these meds, they're silently depleting the nutrient that helps you sleep, heal, and maintain sexual potency. That's why I say magnesium deficiency isn't a sign of poor discipline. It's almost inevitable if you're over 60, and until you replenish it properly, your body will keep suffering in silence, night after night. But here's where the story gets interesting, because the body has a way of warning you when this deficiency is present. In fact, there are clear signs you can spot, and once you recognize them, you'll understand exactly what your body has been telling you all along. The silent symptoms of nighttime magnesium deficiency. Over the years, I've come to understand that the body speaks to us in whispers, long before it shouts in a crisis. For many men over 60, those whispers happen at night. They notice waking up 2 or 3 times to go to the bathroom, even when the bladder isn't really full. They toss and turn, dipping in and out of strange dreams, never truly resting. Their legs cramp or tingle, forcing them to stretch in the dark. And when morning finally comes, they get up with the weight of exhaustion, as if the bed gave them no rest at all. These aren't just minor annoyances. They're the footprints of magnesium deficiency. I remember a patient who said, "Doctor, I feel like I spend the whole night fighting my body instead of recharging it." His words struck me because I knew exactly what he meant. Instead of surrendering to deep, restorative sleep, his nervous system was overactive. Without enough magnesium to calm the muscles and regulate the nerves, his body never entered the reparative sleep stages that generate testosterone and restore potency. By dawn, he was already defeated. And it's not just the body. The mind suffers too. Magnesium deficiency saps patience, increases irritability, and creates a mild anxiety that lingers all day. Men tell me they snap at loved ones for no reason, feel restless with themselves, and notice that the spark of confidence they once had has dimmed. And perhaps the most personal sign of all is that those strong morning erections that used to happen effortlessly become weaker, less frequent, or disappear altogether. For many men, this loss isn't just physical. It deeply affects their sense of masculinity. The tragedy is that most never connect these symptoms to a simple mineral deficiency. They blame age, stress, or even their partners, without realizing their body is simply crying out for what it's missing. But once you recognize these signs for what they are, warnings of a deeper imbalance, you have the power to change your future. Because the good news is that magnesium deficiency doesn't have to control you. It can be corrected. And when it is, those little annoyances start to fade. But there's one crucial step you need to understand before making that change. Not all magnesium is equal. Choosing the wrong type can leave you as frustrated as before. In fact, the type of magnesium you take will determine if your body truly recovers at night or keeps struggling in silence. And that's exactly what we need to uncover next. The right forms of magnesium for men over 60. One of the most important lessons I've learned in my decades treating men is that it's not enough to just take a supplement and hope for the best. The form it comes in, how the body absorbs it, and how it interacts with your system can make the difference between disappointment and transformation. Magnesium is no exception. In fact, it's one of the most misunderstood nutrients. In any pharmacy, you'll see shelves full of magnesium bottles, each with a different label: oxide, citrate, chloride, glycinate, threonate. Most men assume they're all the same, but I tell you from experience, they're not. Choosing the wrong form can leave you frustrated, wondering why nothing changes. Choosing the right one can unlock the recovery your body craves. I remember a gentleman around 70 who came to me after trying magnesium on his own. He bought the cheapest bottle he found at the pharmacy and took it faithfully for weeks, but noticed no improvement. His sleep was shallow, his energy non-existent, and his erections still weak. When I asked what form he was using, I wasn't surprised to hear it was magnesium oxide, a form that's poorly absorbed and often irritates the stomach. After switching to the right one, the change was drastic. His nights became calmer, his mornings lighter, and his confidence gradually returned. For men over 60, I focus on 2 specific forms: magnesium glycinate sometimes called bisglycinate, is gentle on the stomach and highly absorbable. More importantly, it directly activates the body's relaxation system, easing muscle tension, calming the mind, and preparing you for deep, restorative sleep. It helps dilate blood vessels, which is key for strong erections, and reduces the nighttime anxiety that keeps so many men awake. The second is magnesium threonate, unique because it crosses the blood-brain barrier. This form doesn't just benefit the body, it helps the mind too. It sharpens memory, calms racing thoughts, and makes it easier to fall back asleep if you wake up in the middle of the night. For men who lie awake with worries, this form can be life-changing. Not every magnesium will give you these results. That's why it's so important to choose the right dose. The form you choose can determine if your nights continue to frustrate you or start to heal. But there's another key piece to this puzzle, just as important as choosing the right dose, and it has to do with timing. Because when you take magnesium, the timing is as crucial as the type you take. And that's what we'll discover next. How to take it correctly at night. I've seen too many men give up on magnesium, not because it doesn't work, but because no one told them how to take it properly. The truth is, to recover energy, potency, and sleep, timing and consistency are as important as the nutrient itself. Your body follows rhythms. Your heart, your hormones, even your sleep cycle move to a natural clock. And if you want magnesium to do its job, you need to give it to your body right when it's ready to receive it. That time is at night, about 30 to 60 minutes before bed. I often tell my patients to think of magnesium as the key to restorative sleep. If you take it too early, your body won't feel all its benefits when you need them most. If you take it too late, you might have already missed the window to spark the calm that sets you up for deep rest. But take it at the right time and you'll feel your muscles release tension, your heartbeat steady, and your mind quiet almost effortlessly. The dose matters too. For magnesium glycinate, I usually recommend between 200 and 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium each night. For magnesium threonate, the dose is 1 to 2 grams, which provides about 144 milligrams of elemental magnesium. The key is to start low, let your body adjust, and increase if needed. Think of it as teaching your body to trust the rhythm again, step by step. Pair it with something relaxing, like a cup of warm water or a calming herbal tea like chamomile or passion flower. This simple ritual signals to your body that it's time to unwind, recover, and rebuild. There are also habits that make a difference. After taking magnesium, avoid looking at your phone, watching TV late into the night, or sitting under bright lights. These things confuse your brain and make it think it's still daytime, countering the effect magnesium is trying to create. Instead, dim the lights, breathe deeply, and let the natural calm wash over you. By following this routine consistently, night after night, you're not just taking a supplement, you're restoring your body's entire recovery system. And that's where the real transformation begins. But you might wonder what exactly to expect once you do it, how quickly the changes will show, and what signs will indicate your body is finally recovering. That's where we're headed next. What to expect? The transformation timeline. One of the most common questions I hear from men is, "Doctor, if I start taking this at night, when will I feel the difference?" And I always smile because I know how eager they are to feel alive again, to reclaim that spark they thought was lost forever. The truth is, the body responds faster than you might think, and while every man's experience is unique, there's a clear pattern I've seen repeat time and again. In the first few nights, usually between day 1 and 3, most men notice a subtle shift. They fall asleep a bit faster, and instead of tossing and turning for hours, they feel their body surrender to rest more naturally. There's a lightness in the muscles, as if a hidden tension has finally been released, and the heart beats in a steady rhythm that carries them into deeper sleep stages. One man told me it felt like, my body finally remembered how to unplug. Those early days are often the first taste of real relief. From day 4 to 7, something extraordinary starts to happen. Mornings don't feel as heavy. Men wake up with more clarity, less grogginess, and often with fewer nighttime bathroom trips. For some, the return of spontaneous morning erections is both a surprise and a gift, a sign that their blood vessels and testosterone production are kicking back in. The day feels lighter, stronger, with more energy, and with that comes something even more powerful: the return of hope. By the end of 2 full weeks, the transformation becomes undeniable. Sleep stretches to 6 or 8 uninterrupted hours. The constant nervous energy and anxious thoughts fade, and relief that seemed distant suddenly feels natural. Men tell me they look at their partners differently. With a spark they thought was gone, they move with a quiet confidence that radiates from within. One man put it best when he said, "I feel like myself again, just younger." And remember, all this happens without drugs, without synthetic hormones, and without dangerous side effects. By simply giving back to the body what it's missing, its natural recovery rhythm takes over and rebuilds you from the inside out. But before you rush off, there are some common mistakes that can ruin your progress and leave you wondering why it didn't work. Knowing these pitfalls can make the difference between frustration and lasting results. And that's exactly what I want to show you next. Avoid these 3 common mistakes. You wouldn't believe how many times I've met men who told me, "Doctor, I tried magnesium and it did nothing." And always, upon digging a little deeper, I find the problem wasn't magnesium itself, but how they were using it. The truth is, even the most powerful remedy can fail if taken incorrectly. And unfortunately, there are 3 common mistakes that prevent men from getting the results they crave. The first mistake is choosing the wrong form. Magnesium oxide is the most common type sold in stores because it's cheap to make. But cheap doesn't mean effective. Magnesium oxide is poorly absorbed by the body and often causes stomach upset or diarrhea. One of my patients took it faithfully for weeks only to feel worse. When we switched to magnesium glycinate, the change was radical. He told me, "I thought magnesium didn't work, but really, I didn't know what I was buying." That's the trap so many fall into. The second mistake is taking it at the wrong time of day. Magnesium is a natural relaxant. It calms nerves, relaxes muscles, and prepares the body for sleep. Taking it in the morning can backfire, leaving you lethargic and sleepy right when you need energy most. One man admitted he'd been taking it with breakfast for months, wondering why his afternoons felt so heavy. Once he switched to nighttime, his body finally responded as it should. The third mistake is inconsistency. I see this constantly. A man starts strong, takes his supplement for a few days, then skips a night, then a weekend, and eventually forgets altogether. Magnesium doesn't work like a switch. It builds up, restoring balance night after night. If you skip doses, your body never finds its rhythm. Think of it like planting seeds. You don't water them once and expect a garden. You water them every day until life takes root. Your body deserves the same commitment. Avoiding these mistakes is key, but there's a powerful combination that can boost your recovery and vitality even more. And that's exactly what I'll share with you next. The secret boost: magnesium, zinc, and vitamin B6. Over the years, I've noticed something fascinating while helping men reclaim their lives. Magnesium alone is powerful, but when you add complementary elements, the results are often faster, deeper, and longer lasting. It's like tuning up an old engine. You don't just change the oil. You replace the spark plugs and clean the filters so the whole engine runs better. For men over 60, the best tune-up is combining magnesium with zinc and vitamin B6. Together, this trio is sometimes called ZMA, and it's been a game changer for countless men who thought their best days were behind them. Let's talk about why. Magnesium sets the stage by calming the body, easing sleep, and allowing natural testosterone production to rise. Zinc steps in to support that testosterone, bolstering the very foundation of male potency. Without enough zinc, the body struggles to maintain normal levels of the hormone that drives desire, energy, and muscle recovery. Many men are surprised to learn that a simple zinc shortage has been silently undermining their strength for years. Once they replenish it, their virility starts to return in unexpected ways. And then there's vitamin B6, the unsung hero. Vitamin B6 helps your body use magnesium and zinc effectively. It also plays a key role in mood balance and brain health. That's why many men tell me they feel calmer and clearer when combining these three. I remember a man in his 60s who had almost given up on supplements. He'd tried magnesium alone and noticed some improvement, but still felt like something was missing. When we added zinc and B6, the results were extraordinary. But there's one final truth I need you to hear. Something that goes beyond any vitamin or supplement. Because ultimately, this isn't just about nutrients. It's about what kind of man you want to be in this new chapter of your life. And that's exactly what I want to leave you with next. The call to action. Gentlemen, we've uncovered a truth that many men never hear. I've heard husbands admit they've stopped approaching their wives, not for lack of love, but out of shame. Those moments break my heart because I know deep down that this decline isn't inevitable. Your body isn't failing because time is running out. It's struggling because it's been robbed of the fuel it needs to recover. By giving it back, magnesium at night, in the right form and consistently, you can reclaim your strength, your vitality, and your confidence. I've witnessed the pride in a man's voice when he tells me he feels like himself again. And I want you to know that this isn't just for others. It's available to you too. Age isn't the enemy, neglect is. So tonight, take that first step. Restore what your body is missing, and watch as your mornings, your days, and your life transform. If you're ready for that change, comment below with a 1, and let's start this journey together.